once again! Here we are, part 4. I'm sorry this came out a bit late. I kind of had writer's block-ish, and I really didn't get that many votes that last week. Got 3, I think? Yeah. Anyway, but if you want to see the previous video, there should be an annotation up here for that. And when it comes out, there will be a link to the next video up here. And I might put a playlist thing down here in the description. I'll also put the choices in the description as well. Yeah. So, without further ado, well, actually, before we start, if you do like this series, please spread it around to your friends or people that you think might like it. So, yeah. Anyway, to keep up with it, subscribe somewhere. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Volveretta's Tale Part 4. Alright. Volveretta decided that there was no way she could go hunting with her leg hurt the way it was. If she tried, she would have opened up the wound even more, and would run a higher risk of infection. Infection was basically a death sentence in this day and age, so Retta tightened her bandage and picked up her bag, and decided to head off towards town. Bracing herself against the wind, she started the few-mile hike towards the town. The town wasn't very populous, and it was little more than a simple farming village, but thankfully that made things much easier for the Amphi. She wouldn't have to deal with the guards of a city or too much discrimination. Though, as she walked through the small gates, she found the village to be rather quiet. No one had been here in a while, it seemed. It was a ghost town. Signs hung from shops, only one of the two securing loops, and it swung precariously, creaking a bit in the wind. A fine layer of snow covered everything else. No footprints were to be seen anywhere, neither from person nor animal. Cautiously, Retta explored the deserted town, looking for anything that might be of use to her. Knocking on a door, she slowly entered one of the residences. The door creaked open and banged on the adjacent wall. "Hello," she said. She ducked through the doorway, making sure not to hit her head on the entrance to the small hut. There was no answer. The floorboards creaked under her weight, and the claws of her feet clicked faintly as she walked through the house, looking for any signs of life. Turning a corner, she jumped a little bit as she saw the remains of the people who had lived here. Nothing more than skeletons covered in cobwebs. They were oddly positioned, though. 3 of them, father, mother, and child, sat at the dinner table, forks in one hand and glasses of something to drink in the other. Whatever had happened here didn't give anyone time to even react, much less escape. Retta assumed that the same would be true for the other residents of the village as well. Boris is trying to get out of my room. Taking a deep breath of that musky air, Retta closed her eyes and remembered what her mother had told her. Waste nothing, the dead can still be of use. Nodding in agreement to those words of wisdom, Retta approached the skeletons. She brushed some of the cobwebs away and took the femurs of the man and the woman before looking around the house for some equipment that she could use. She found nothing of interest and left the home. She rolled the femur over in her fingers and looked at it, and then snapped it in 2. Bones like the femur were more or less canned goodies. The marrow lasted for at least 6 years and would give her everything that she needed to get her strength back up. Retta slurped the marrow out of the femur. She guzzled down the goopy substance, feeling it slide down her throat. It tasted a bit salty and rich, full of vitamins, fat, protein, and everything else that she needed. It wasn't quite as satisfying as sinking your teeth into the flesh of a fresh kill, but it would have to do. She repeated the process with the 3 other femurs she had taken from the house, and with her belly now full, she sighed and decided to explore the town a bit more, see if she could find anything useful. She wandered from house to house, searching through their things, looking for any clues of what might have happened, but found nothing. Whatever had befallen these people had happened long ago, and time had erased any evidence that might have been left behind. As she explored, she came across a blacksmith shop. Going inside, she found some fresh cloth to wrap her wound with, and a lovely display of weapons and armor. She went over to the armor first and held it up to her chest to see if any would fit. Being taller than the people of this village by about 6 feet, she was totally unsuccessful in finding any piece of armor that would remotely fit her. Tossing the plate and chain away, she moved over to the weapon rack. Her hands roamed across the weapons. Long swords for these people looked like daggers in her hands. She did take a few short swords, though, to be used as knives later and stashed them away in her bag. As she looked through them, she did come across some rather large weapons. It seemed that this blacksmith was perhaps making weapons for one of her people at the time of his demise. She found a massive hammer with a large wooden shaft and a huge flat head with quadruple spikes inlaid in the flat part of the head to pierce through armor. The entire thing was probably 8 feet long and definitely a two-handed weapon, even for her. Next to it was a double-bladed axe that was equally as large as the hammer. Its blades curved upwards in a cruel manner, and it was so sharp that Retta cut herself a little, just by gently running her thumb over it. Greatsword was beside it, the tip fanned out, and to put more weight on the front of the sword so that it would cleave through things much easier when swung. The blade was 2 feet wide, 4 inches thick, and 6 feet long. The handle was another 4 feet after that, and it weighed a ton. Moving to the smaller department, she ran her hands across a stout, sturdy-looking long sword with a Celtic design engraved into it, and a matching kite shield. And finally, 2 wickedly curved scimitars that she could dual wield. Uncertain what she should choose, she pondered over her options. End for now. Yes! And now we get to the choice section. Hooray! So, your choices are A. Giant hammer. Giant, massive hammer of smackness. The axe of choppy things. The great sword. Big, thick great sword to hack and cleave and squish. The sword and the shield, rawr. Defense and offense. Or the double blades. So, put your vote in the comments below. Subscribe somewhere. It's like here. Maybe. If you want to keep updated with this, I do 1 a week. Yes. I think I might be doing 2 this week because I need to get this one out. Anyway, but yes. Like, if you like it, add to favorite, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. Link to the next video will be up here. Annotation thingy, clicky that, clicky. Last video is clicky over here. Go watch these if you want to know what is happening. Yeah, bye. Have a good day, and see ya.